I'm not a politician, I'm a woman, I'm an American woman, and my personal responsibility is to give those people a chance to have somebody speak up for them when they can't. It was very moving to be there in that costume.
Right.
And to see all those other women in that costume when you know what's happening just a few blocks away. Just would stand there and just look and be like, this is so cool.
Like, how did I get to do this? Like, how did I end up here?
These people are talking to me.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Ford. Thank you so much for watching Profile. I'm incredibly excited to be here with an award-winning actress who you know from Mad Men and The Handmaid's Tale, to name a few. Now, you can catch her in the upcoming film Her Smell. Welcome, Elisabeth Moss.
Thank you very much.
Elisabeth, thank you so much for being here.
Excited to be here.
This is a very different role for you. Was playing Becky liberating for you?
Yeah, it was liberating in the sense that there's nothing you couldn't do. There's nothing too crazy, physically, emotionally. There were no limits, and that is very freeing. It means you can also make bigger mistakes, but it was fine. You had to. It's film. It's not theater. It's not live. It's okay to make those mistakes. And you almost had to see how far you could go.
Right.
So it was really liberating, especially coming out of something like Handmaids, which is often much more contained.
Mm-hmm.
We wrapped season 2, and I started Her Smell a week later, so it was like being shot out of a cannon.
We actually have a clip from the film.
Uh-oh.
And it's yeah, you're ready for this.
Oh, God.
Let's go ahead and play that.
Show of hands, who is committed to greatness and will do whatever it takes to achieve it? And show of hands, who is lazy and doesn't care about the music that we are recording here? That's one for greatness. Anyone else? Thank you, Keith. It's nice to know someone is on my side, the winning side, and we all know who writes history. You all can just go home and take a nap or something because your level of dedication has been exposed. Right, Howard? Did you come to check up on your prized project? Thank you for giving us some space lately, but I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, but it is going terribly at best.
Well, there's a solution to this. I just need to figure out what it is. If we could all just take a step back and think for a second.
That is a grand idea. Why can't you two be more of like team players like Howard?
Give it a rest, lady. The show's exhausting, and I've seen it too many times to stick for the finale.
Woo! Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you can clap for that because that's a performance. It seems chaotic. There are a lot of long takes. What was it like filming in this environment?
Yeah, it was a definite, it was a marathon, honestly. It was really, because you can't hold back with Becky. There's no
Right.
when you see the movie you'll understand, there's no halfway.
Were you just let's think about the crazy rocker, like the out there rocker, and just turn it into whatever it is?
The fact that she was a musician and a rock star was very secondary for me. What I was more interested in was addiction, that type of celebrity, that kind of abusive personality, manipulative personality that she is, mixed with extreme vulnerability and insecurity. So I approached it much more from an emotional kind of place than what her career was. She could have been an actress, she could have been a painter. I mean, it didn't really matter to me what she did. It just happened to be the context that Alex, our director, there he is, Alex West Perry, was interested in focusing this particular story around. So the 90s and that music scene. But for me, it was much more about figuring out who she was as a person, as a woman, as a mother, and focusing on that.
What about with learning guitar? Yeah. That is such an interesting part to me because, I know that that's something that people have done. We've seen people do it before for a role, learn an instrument.
Yeah.
But then to perform it in front of a crowd, not just on a closed set, is a lot.
Yeah, it
How
was.
Does that feel?
I was so nervous. the first time we had to do the first song on stage. But I will say though, I am never going to be one of those actors who pretends to have done something that I didn't do. And my whole family are musicians, so I have so much respect for musicians and how much you have to practice and how many years you spend actually applying yourself to that instrument. I learned how to look like I can play. I learned very just the basics, and I play one song on the piano that I did actually play, but it is a very simple version of that song. So I am not going to claim that I am not going to claim that I can play the guitar. I can't. I have too much respect for guitar players. It's incredibly difficult, but I had to learn how to, play the basics, and I got really good calluses on my fingers for a while, and could learn to play some chords, and it was also just about the feeling of it and the way that they hold their guitars and the way that they, guitar in grunge is like held really low and like that kind of thing. And it was more about that authenticity than me turning into a guitar player in 5 months.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie. And of all your roles, because people know you, like you are the kind of actress, I feel like, that when people walk away from any project you've done, it's always like, that's one of my favorite characters.
So that's nice.
That's one of my, every single time. And they identify like with you as the character. It's like you sort of become that person in their mind. But which character do you see yourself as most like?
Probably June from Handmaids. Yeah, for sure. I think she's the most similar to me. The circumstances are very different. Well, not always that different, but but she's definitely the one that I am closest to and identify with the most, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Your role on The Handmaid's Tale has made you a big figure in the feminist movement right now. Like, people are loving this show, talking about this show, equating this show to what's happening in America right now, what's happening in different places around the world right now. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I mean, I think that it is terrifyingly similar, not only to my country, but like you said, to many countries around the world who are unfortunately even further along and have gone further down that road towards Gilead. It's a responsibility, I feel like, but at the same time, it's an honor. It's humbling. I feel like, listen, I'm not a politician. I'm a woman. I'm an American woman. And I feel like what I'm trying to do with June is give anyone who has felt like their freedom or rights have been taken away on a small scale or on a larger scale, on the personal or the political, like they have a voice, like there's somebody out there representing them. And there's a lot of different people that could say that in many different ways. And I feel like that's my personal responsibility, is to give those people a chance to have somebody speak up for them when they can't.
That's, one of the ways that the show does that is not always just through the story, but also these stunning visuals and these stunning shoots at different times. What was it like filming on the National Mall?
It was honestly one of the most, I'll obviously never forget it. It was incredibly moving. Because you go to the Lincoln Memorial, and I don't know if you've ever been, but it's a very moving place. And just at the bottom of those steps is the spot where MLK, gave his "I Had a Dream" speech. You're surrounded by things that are incredibly important, and these moments that are really important. And you really do take a moment to look at these monuments that have been built to what this country is supposed to stand for, and what it is supposed to represent, that has been lost along the way. And you can't help but kind of take a moment and go, God, it really is important what these people were fighting for.
Right.
And so it was very moving, and it was very moving to be there in that costume, and to see all those other women in that costume when you know what's happening just a few blocks away. And it was something you'll definitely never forget.
I can't imagine how you would.
Yeah.
Because it's a stunning visual, but it had to have been a stunning moment emotionally as well.
For sure. What
can we look forward to from season 3?
I think, gosh, what can I say? We're like over halfway through now. I think that June, there's so much I could say. It's about June's journey this year.
You can just say it all.
It's all. I'll just get into it.
Yeah, just tell us everything. It's okay.
No,
Right,
she honestly. The thing that's so interesting for me, one of the things that's been so interesting for me, is that she will not give up in humanity, and that's she is the hope. Like she will not give up on believing that there must be humanity in somewhere, in someone, and to her detriment sometimes, because that's actually not true, you know, and sometimes there isn't, or people are too far gone, and so, but she just won't give up to the point of almost insanity, but I think you need that sometimes, and so she is, she's put through the ringer once again, faces her fair share of challenges, but I think what breaks her makes her stronger. So she's gonna be all right.
She's gonna be all right. All right, all right. We're ready. So on top of filming *Handmaid's Tale*, also *Her Smell*.
Yeah.
You were in *Us*.
Yeah.
That movie was terrifying.
It's scary.
Okay, it is very scary. Like, it's funny, but it is also really, really scary.
Yeah.
What was it like being on set?
Oh, on set it was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, on set it was really fun because it kind of became the who can do the craziest thing to impress Jordan competition. It was like you would like, how can I be either the funniest, the scariest, the weirdest, the craziest? And you'd do a take and he'd come in with his iPad afterwards and just be like shaking his head. You know, and he'd be like, that is effed up. I don't know if you can say the F word around here. Yeah. He'd be like, mm-hmm.
What's the craziest thing to have? I wanted to, like, what's the thing that somebody was like, okay, come on.
He doesn't say that.
He doesn't?
He doesn't say that, no. Absolutely not. He really does allow you as an actor, Lupita was saying this earlier, he sort of plants things in your imagination and he allows you to just go. He allows you just to have the biggest imagination possible. And I think that's why he gets incredible performances out of these actors. And why people want to work with him now, because there are no limits. You know, and you could try this. Okay, great, we've done that. Well, let's try this. Okay, that was great. Let's try this. And it's fun, honestly. It's actually really fun and really liberating.
That sounds like so much fun.
It's really cool. I think he's honestly brilliant. I think he's brilliant in the way of Spike Lee and Tarantino and Spielberg. I mean, I think he's the sort of next generation of filmmaker like that.
Well, we agree on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right?
One of the things Jordan said is that he based your character off a Real Housewife.
Oh, right. I think he mentioned that at one
He
point.
wanted you to seem like a Real Housewife, and you're a huge Real Housewife fan. So what did that mean to you?
I mean, there was that, and then there was also, she's kind of the girl I hate. You know what I mean? She's kind of that girl, that like Rose All Day girl, who's just like, you know that girl, and it's just everything is so superficial and fake. And I changed my voice to kind of be as like annoying as possible, and just really leaned into certain traits that I hope I don't have, and really get annoyed by. And it was really fun though, because I never get to do that. I never get to play that girl, and I know that girl so well. So it was really, really fun for me to try to be her.
Oh, I know that girl too. I met that girl in college.
Do. Yeah, exactly.
I remember. I remember. We don't really rock together no more.
No,
but
exactly,
I remember.
Exactly. And you know, she's really fun for a while.
She is.
She really
has
is.
her place.
There's not a lot of substance.
Right. You can only go so far.
You can only go so far.
You can only go so far. You have had at this point, a long, storied, varied career. You've done so much. If you had to sum it up in 3 words, what would they be?
Oh my God. Let me see. Challenging. Fun.
Yes.
Which to me is the same thing.
Yes.
And fulfilling. Honestly, I'm one of those people who believes that if you get the chance to do what you love for a living, you have made it already, and you've gotten something that is very unique, very rare, and I'm very grateful for. So for me, I've gotten to do that for many years, and I honestly just hope I get to keep doing it, and I would be fine.
Love that. Now, there are rumors that you'll replace Johnny Depp in Invisible Man. Are you replacing Johnny Depp in Invisible Man?
I would say that I can't talk about it. I can't really talk about it, but I would say that it's, what can I say? I can't say anything about it. I can't. I would say I don't think I would be replacing Johnny Depp necessarily. Mm-hmm. I can say that, but I think it's an incredible story that maybe needs to be retold, but maybe with a woman. So we'll see.
An interesting
I'm not saying I'm doing it. I just think theoretically that would be a great idea.
And you know what? I'm just going to agree with you on that theory.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You've also been stretching your comedic chops, like in the kitchen with Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish. Talk to me about what that was like, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
It was terrible, honestly. Absolutely terrible. They're both nightmares.
Oh, no.
And it was just absolute nightmares. No one laughed at all. Not at all. No, it was literally like you should not get paid to do that. Like it was technically not a job. It was honestly, they are two of the nicest, most professional women, intelligent women, also obviously both hilarious. But this was cool, this movie, because it's actually technically a drama. Mm-hmm. So it was fun to kind of get in there with two women who have, their bread and butter has been comedy, but who are incredible dramatic actresses. Right. And Melissa's had a chance to prove that, obviously, with her Oscar nominations. Whatever. And Tiffany actually is getting that chance too, and man, can she really deliver on it. So I think it was cool to get in there with these women and get to see them stretch in this way that was just inspiring, and then of course also get to hang out with Tiffany Haddish and Melissa McCarthy. It was just kind of awesome.
Squad girls, that sounds it. Yeah.
I just would stand there and just look and be like, this is so cool.
Like, how did I get to do this? How did I end up here?
These people are talking to me. It was very cool.
I love that. I love that so much. We have audience questions.
Oh, great.
Who's got a question?
You play so many different roles as a different woman, but I feel like all women have a little bit of all your roles that you've played in them. So how do you feel that your role as a role model for the next generation of women is, because you're playing so many different types of women, but me as a younger Latina woman, seeing you as a role model, I see a little bit of myself in every single role. So how do you feel that you're influencing the next generation of women as an actress?
First of all, it's a super nice question. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I take that as such a huge compliment, because that's all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to present us as women, and I think that we have, whatever our background, whatever our upbringing, we have so many of the same experiences, and that's what brings us together, right? That's what makes us able to communicate. That's what makes us stronger. It's the fact that we actually aren't that different. And our differences we can talk about, and we can use that to help us bring us together even more. So I feel like, for me, I never tried to play, when I was doing Mad Men, I never tried to play her as a woman from the 60s. I played her as me, as a woman. I played her as a copywriter in the 2000s. I played her as anyone who was fighting to get paid the same as somebody else. And for me, that was just my way in. That was just important. So same with June. I'm trying to play her as any mother, any woman, any wife. What would you do in that situation? How would you try to get your daughter back? What would you do to get your daughter back, or get your daughter out? So for me, I just try to make them as human as possible and identifiable as possible, which is different than likable. Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in that. I don't really care. I don't know how to do that. So for me, it's more about understanding.
I love that. I love that answer. Do we have one more question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm about 2 episodes away from finishing Mad Men, and already I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? Because I've been so dedicated to this show. And then I was thinking, how much harder is it for the actors and actresses who actually, put 7 or however many years into a TV show, or even just putting all your dedication into the role of Becky something, or it seems like you really give it your all. So when the show is over or the film is done and you go home, what does that feel like? Is it kind of sad?
I don't know. I tend to be a person who's actually just pretty good at letting that kind of thing go. I'm often ready to move on to the next thing, and I want to. That doesn't mean, of course, after an experience like Mad Men, which was 9 years of my life, 7 seasons, but it was 9 years, 23 to 32. Of course, there's a very strange feeling when you let that go. But I was also so ready, I had done it for 9 years, so I didn't know what else to do with her. The story I felt was done. So for me, I was sort of sad, but I was also really ready, and I was excited for the next opportunity. So I don't know. I tend to kind of look towards the future and look towards what the next thing is, and not get stuck in what I'm doing then. I tend to also try to give everything I can, so that I never feel I don't want to regret it. I don't want to feel like I didn't leave it all out on the dance floor. Like when I leave, I want to make sure I did everything I could. I did the best job that I could do, and then that's to me more important, just to not feel like I didn't do my job.
But thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate that. And Elisabeth, my goodness, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This has been really, really nice, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, thank you so much. It's been so lovely.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. The conversation continues all week long on Facebook. So make sure to follow the profile page, and we'll see you right back here next time.